Hi there, it's Jeff. Well, today's project I've been given is to reupholster these tired old dining chairs. They're just in vinyl and just a bit worn out and cracked in some places. And it's just a matter of pulling over some vinyl, stapling on the bottom. There's no stitching required with industrial sewing machine or anything. And I've been fortunate enough to work alongside upholsterers during my working career, and they've taught me how to do this type of thing. It's pretty basic, and it's a DIY job that you can do at home yourself with some basic tools. So keep watching and I'll show you how easy it is to transform these dining chairs into new vinyl. Okay, the first thing we're going to do here is flip over our cushions or seat bases, and you see on the underside of this cushion it's got like a black calico type of covering just to hide the framework and the staples from the vinyl when this is tied down. And this has got a few staples in it. The first thing we're going to do is remove this bottom cover. Now the tool I use for that it's especially a tool that removes staples in the upholstery industry. If you don't have one of these, you can use like a thin screwdriver to get underneath the staple. Prise it up, and then you're going to need some pliers, some pincers or side cutters to pull the staples out. So that's our first job. Let's get to it. Okay, now that I have removed all the staples around the outside of this bottom cover, I'll fold that over and you can kind of see what's going on here now. So sometimes you'll have a solid base for your seat. This one actually has a cutout with foam and it's got some webbing which is for extra support. So now it's going to be a matter of removing the bottom staples from this cover, and then the painstaking removal of all these staples right around the perimeter holding this vinyl onto the plywood. So I better get to it. Okay, so I've just removed all the staples around from the bottom here, and that's probably one of the worst parts of this job, is removing all of those. Now you may find sometimes, and you may even saw in the video, that when I was trying to pop those staples up, sometimes they snap They didn't all come out in one go. So sometimes they snap and a little bits are left on the surface. If you just run your fingers carefully and you feel them, just hit them down, tap them down with a hammer, and just helps clean it up a little bit, and so you don't cut yourself in the meantime as well when you are trying to pull this back over. But yeah, just hammer them down lightly if you do have any sticking up. Now we can actually pull the vinyl off, and here's my seat base with the cushion and sponge, and this is in pretty good condition. If you find that this is torn or chunks out of it or so on, then you may need to change the sponge, or even put a layer of Dacron over the top and just spray glue that on with some contact glue. But that's fine, I'm going to reuse that. I don't need to change that one. And the vinyl that we pulled off, we will actually use this as a little bit of a template in cutting our fresh piece of vinyl. So that's our next stage. We'll get the new vinyl rolled out and we'll cut that and use this as a template for size to cover this one. Okay, this is our old vinyl here. I'm just going to lay that out. I'm going to allow a little bit extra because we will trim that later on. Go across there a bit. We're just going to cut a rectangle or square mark. So it might be roughly there. That's good enough on that outside edge. The widest point there is roughly okay there. We're good to go here. I'm going to line that up with that. Lengthwise, same deal. I'm going to go a little bit extra over here to there. And I believe I should be able to get another one on the top there, or even that way. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. We'll mark that out. Okay, so once you've cut that out, you can use this as a template in your next one. Which I will do there. Okay, now I'm going to pull this side up, and I'm going to bring it up for you so you can see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do now is just try to pull this vinyl over, and with this other hand on my left, so I'll just show you on this side. I've got my hand there, and I'm going to try to stretch that vinyl over as much as I can with my hand, pulling it, and I'm going to put a temporary tack there just to keep it into place. Now that may have to come out later, but it's fine, just to keep it into place. And I'm putting the tack on an angle just so it may have to come out again. It's easy to pull out. So that's that. Now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to do all four sides, just put a tack in the middle. So the next one here, Going to stretch that. Make sure I've got enough each side. Yep, plenty. Just going to stretch that. All right, now that side there. As you can see, I've just sort of pulled from each side there, and now we'll work on the front again, and we'll get this nice and tight. Okay. Okay, just pulling it up. Trying to stretch it with your fingers, getting a tack in there. Don't worry about your staples all over the place. I'm going to come to this side now. All right, and I'm going to stop short of the corners because we'll have to stretch them around and heat them up later. So that's where I'm at the moment, and you can just see that front edge. Now I'll come back to this one, back to here. And if this is okay, just stretch that. So just stretching it as I go along. Okay, that one can come out. That one's fine there. How far? I'll stop there. Yep. Now I'll work on the front there. The back is good. Now I'll work on the sides. So we've got a little bit of a ripple there. So what we want to do here is on this side here. We can pull it back over. So I'm going to undo these. As you want to go there. Okay. Okay, we'll stop there. Maybe stop. I'll put one more there. Okay. On that. Okay, now we've got we're going to work on the corner. This is the first one. And what I'm going to do is heat this corner up, or warm it up. This is where you can use a hairdryer on a high heat setting, or a heat gun, which is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to slowly work that corner, and this will soften that vinyl up, soften the vinyl up so we can stretch it. Or you'll feel it straight away being soft. But you've got to work quick. So that's pretty much right. And I'm going to get the staple gun and stretch it and staple. Okay, we'll heat it up again. Okay, again. Okay. Alright, so you're going to have your pleats on the underside a little bit. You can't help that, but at least that corner should be nice and tight and stretched. Good, that's what you want. Now next corner. That corner. That'll be the front of the seat. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, finding that that crease is a little bit, I might undo a couple of staples there, stretch it around a little bit. Okay, now with a sharp blade, I'm just going to trim all this excess vinyl. And I'll just start from somewhere. Make sure you got a sharp blade. Okay, now if there's any spots here with staples that probably could do a little bit more, like along here and some gaps, just want to make sure it's like soldiers one after the other if you can, just to, so I might just fill in a couple of little spots here. That's fine. Remember, all of this is going to get covered with the under layer that's there, that black. Alright, that's about it there. And now we are ready to put the bottom cover on. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to reuse the bottom cover that we had, obviously. And that's roughly how it went, something like that. And it had the front edge stapled from underneath, so went roughly like that. If I can get a staple there. Let's see how that looks. That should work. Alright, we'll just stretch that over like that in the middle. We'll put one here. Stretch that back corner. One there. Sides. And I'm roughly just placing these actually where they were before, so which is working fine. I'm just going to pull that corner out a little bit more. Okay, put one there. That's fine. And we want that corner to sit like that. There's that chair. Well, there you have it. Finished product. Came really nice actually. So just the main thing is just basically just stretching that vinyl over. You'll get a sore thumb, as what I did. Just stretching that vinyl over is the hard part, and especially when it's hot. You're heating it up with the heat gun or the hairdryer, it's hot and you're pulling it and stretching it. So it's a bit of mucking around with it, just pulling it over, but it's a DIY job that you can do on a weekend. Reupholster all your new chairs, some fresh vinyl, and your guests won't know the difference. They'll think you just bought some new ones. Underneath, nice and neat and tidy, putting that cover back on, and it's just a matter of screwing these back onto the chairs, the original chairs that they come on. So yeah, happy days. I hope this gives some people out there some inspiration, or to give this a go for yourselves. If you've got some tired chairs at home, give it a go, get some vinyl. It's not too expensive. You just need a couple of basic tools. I will admit though, the pneumatic staple gun does help because it just fires away real nice and quickly and securely. And by the way, I did use 12mm staples for this, almost 1/2 inch. So, but I had the equivalent in plywood. The base was really rough, about 13mm plywood. So just be careful there with your staples. Whatever you do use, make sure they're not going to stick through to your vinyl. This has got a fair bit of padding as well, and it should be secure. Apart from that, a good set of shears or scissors to cut your vinyl, Stanley knife or cutting blade, some pincers to remove the staples. That's probably the worst job of this, pulling those staples out all right round. And when you've got like 8 chairs to do, like I do, it's going to be a bit of a task, but the end result will be worth it. That just about wraps up this video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you got some value out of it, press like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date with all the latest videos that I bring out, that tips and tricks of the trade and DIY projects. From Jeff, I will see you next video.